Good morning, friends. It's Deanna Williston from Our Blooming Catholic Life, and it's another Water Wednesday. And I wanted to talk to you about just a couple of things this morning. The first thing is, I know you've probably seen it. It's like the hot environmental advice of the year. Leave your leaves. There's this big campaign that's out there that leave your leaves on your yard because they're such a great habitat for all kinds of animals for overwintering. And it's true. Everything from insects to salamanders and toads, lots of things like living under your old leaves. But here's the problem. Anyone who lives in the suburbs of the city, I think you're going to know that if you don't rake your leaves and you just leave them on your lawn, what's going to happen is on a windy day, they're just going to blow to your neighbor's yard and make them angry. Just because you leave them doesn't mean they're going to stay put in your yard and provide a habitat. So just like the advice, okay, I'll give you a similar one that's a really hot one, is to use your coffee grounds on your plants. And now some people are just going to take their coffee grounds when they're done making coffee and dump it on their plants and wonder why their plants aren't doing well. You know there's that one person out there doing that because they're not letting their coffee grounds cool off at all. They're putting hot coffee grounds on plants. So you have to not take advice necessarily exactly at face value sometimes, right? And so you might take your coffee grounds, and if you have a coffee can, if you're using that, or designate just a steel can or a particular cup, and dump those coffee grounds in, let them cool off, and later in the day maybe take them out and put them on the plants, or do it once I don't know, do they get moldy? I don't even know if you can do it once a week. So you'd have to actually get some practical tips on that instead of just dumping hot coffee grounds on your plants. So in the same way, view the leaf litter comment the exact same way. Now outside, what we do, and it's what works for us, consider what works for you. So what we do is our riding lawnmower has a mulching blade. And so it basically chops up the leaves much smaller so that we can leave them on the lawn as fertilizer for the grass. However, there are other places. We have two natural flower beds, one on either side of the house, where we will rake the leaves or blow them into. And in those particular places, because we have so many leaves that we put there, it does make a really nice habitat for all kinds of critters in there, and it is also great food for the plants. So we have very particular places we do that. We may also blow some into our compost pile in the back where we have our rabbit litter and our vegetable waste. So we'll put some leaves back there as well. And then we have woods behind our fenced in yard, and we let those go. We let those go completely. And so we're very intentional. We want to do it. But we're going to stop and think, what is the best way to do this? I know my neighbors certainly would not be happy if we let giant piles of leaves roam around the neighborhood. So that's a quick tip on that. Make the environmental advice work for you. It's not every piece of advice is going to be perfect right out of the box for every person. And so we've talked before, I talked about I'm going to get it wrong, so I'll just say the Iroquois Confederation famous prayer known as Words Before All Else. It is a prayer of thanksgiving that they would pray whenever the Confederation would come together for a big meeting, or you might say it, some say that people would say it first thing when they get up in the morning. So it's kind of like a morning offering, but not exactly. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to grab that for you and be right back. Okay, friends, so there are several different versions of this prayer because it was for the Iroquois Federation. So it was a group of the 6 tribes, I believe, and they would say these together, but they are expanded on differently sometimes. Sometimes people really expand the prayer. So let's see. This one is translated by David Benedict of the Mohawk Nation Turtle Clan. And so I'm just going to read to you a small portion of it. They start here with, "Today we have gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one and we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. We are thankful to our mother, the earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our mother, we send greeting and thanks. Now our minds are one. And it will go through and give thanks and greetings to waters, fish, plants, food plants, medicine plants, animals, trees, birds, with eagle as a leader is an often one added in. The four winds, to grandfather thunders, to brother sun, to grandmother moon, the stars, the wisdom keepers, the creator, and of course it ends with now our minds are one. And you can see why this would be something that would be great to start any political conference or discussions, right? Because you're reminding each other of a common heritage as a people before you start any meeting and negotiations, right? Okay. Then I want to contrast that a little bit, and not contrast isn't the right word. I just want to then bring up the Canticle of the Sun, right? Saint Francis's famous Canticle of the Sun. Now, he would not have heard of the words before all else, of course, when he wrote his Canticle of the Creatures. It's also known as the Canticle of the Sun. It is the same, but it has two different names. I'm not sure why some people translate it differently. This starts out, Most High, all-powerful, good Lord, yours are the praises, the glory, the honor, and all blessing. To you alone, Most High, do they belong. And that may surprise some people that it starts out giving thanks and praise to God when it's called Canticle of the Creatures or Canticle of the Sun. A lot of people assume it's very earth worshipy, and it is not. It is giving praise to the Creator through creation. That's the gist of it. So I think we talked before about how Saint Francis liked to expand, just like I said, you could expand on the words before all else. St. Francis liked to expand prayers. That is a way that he liked to meditate on them. So the Our Father, he expanded it with meditations between each line, on each line. And you can do that for many different prayers. And so you could really expand what St. Francis has here. So I'm going to continue now. Except my pages are stuck together. Of course. And no human is worthy to mention your name. Praise be you, my Lord, with all your creatures, especially Sir Brother Sun. So the sun is the first of the creation, the creatures mentioned in here, but he is not by any means the one being praised. Praise be you, my Lord, with all your creatures, but especially Sir Brother Sun, who is the day and through whom you give us light. And he is beautiful and radiant with great splendor, and bears a likeness of you, Most High One. And so St. Francis is right away, he's giving praise and glory to the Creator, and then he's bringing up his most magnificent, brilliant creation that is brilliant because it bears his likeness in its radiance, in its splendor, right? And it is how it bears a likeness of the Creator. Praise be you, my Lord, through Sister Moon and the stars. In heaven you form them clear and precious and beautiful. Praise be you, my Lord, through Brother Wind and through the air, cloudy and serene in every kind of weather, through whom you give sustenance to your creatures. Praise be you, my Lord, through Sister Water, who is very useful and humble and precious and chaste. And so right there, it is telling us, even in there, to keep the water pure. It's in there. Pure, chaste water is what we're blessing and thanking the Lord for. And if that water is not pure and chaste, humans, who's in charge of it? See, it's very easy to expand it and to go into the prayer. Praise be you, my Lord, through Brother Fire, through whom you light the night. He is beautiful and playful and robust and strong. Praise be you, my Lord, through our sister Mother Earth, who sustains and governs us and produces various fruit with colored flowers and herbs. And I find it interesting, most people would just leave it at Mother Earth, but St. Francis made a point of saying Sister Mother Earth. And I find that very poignant, and you could definitely go off onto a meditation there. Praise be you, my Lord, through those who give pardon for your love and bear infirmity and tribulation. Blessed are those who endure in peace for by you, Most High, they shall be crowned. And so he's talking about the penitents, the friars minor, the brothers and sisters of penance there. So he is talking there about those who do penance, those who suffer. So he's talking about the beauty of creation and how it reflects the Lord, and how, okay, so if God reveals himself to us through nature, and if we let nature become corrupt, What is that saying? So obviously people can't see God if they're in a corrupt and polluted world. It's not as easy to see God. And so we need to reflect on that a little. And that could be our call to arms for the environmental movement, because it's hard when the very water you drink poisons you and your children. It's harder to believe in God. You know what I'm saying here? And so that is a reason to help people get the pure and beautiful water, to safeguard, give them the tools they need. So like the Well for Africa project doesn't just go and build a well. They don't even just go and get engineers to design the well. There has to be like, somebody has to say, yes, I have the property rights to this property. Yes, I am going to give people free and equal access to this water. Yes, I am going to protect this water from wild animals that might pollute it. Now, you can still use it to provide water for wild animals, but you're not going to let them go and wallow in the water source that people are using, right? And you may also use some of that water to grow some plants that will be available for the community as some kind of a community garden. So it's a very thoughtful way, and to bring others together, because now they're going to form a committee to help keep that water source well maintained as well as protected, so that everyone has equal access to it, so that it is fair and just and getting the resources to everyone. So you can see how easily you can do reflections and have great discussions on this. And I'm not even going to finish it right now, except to tell you that it does end, of course, with praise and bless my Lord and give him thanks and serve him with great humility. And so if you as a secular Franciscan fraternity or any Christian group, honestly, want to get together, I think you could have a really great and productive discussion on the environmental movement by looking at the Canticle of the Sun and saying, okay, what's this really saying to us? How does this apply to us? What are some action items we can come up with and actually do as a group, personally, as in our families and as a group, to protect the environment, so that people can see how nature reflects the beauty of God and are drawn to God through nature, and give thanks back to God for this beautiful, beautiful gift he has given us. So that's today's Water Wednesday. Consider the Canticle of the Creatures. God bless, friends.